Live this
We're
baby.
going live.
All right, we are live. Welcome back, folks. Hopefully you've been enjoying the journey so far. Um, yeah, it's been hilarious for us actually. Kind of talking about the game, talking about potentially funny moments, and then you guys got to see us play some games, and there'll be more shorts and vids coming out from some of the other games that we played. Um, so much fun, so hilarious. We're just a bunch of goofballs. Like we probably enjoyed those games way too much, maybe more than they were intended to. But anyway, welcome back to the devlog for ZooKeepers. We're working on that S. I promise. We'll get it back. We'll get it back there one day. Um, but yeah, hopefully you guys again. You guys are excited as we are. We have been working on the game. So there is some stuff that we're able to show you tonight, but I just want to just give you guys a recap of like what we've been doing. We've been handling a lot of the back end stuff. So no shiny, nothing that you're gonna like noticeably see at the moment. So we some of the things that came online was um proximity chat. That's a huge one, being able to hear each other in proximity. We can also doubly turn this around, and we have ideas for like walkie talkies and megaphones, and even being able to potentially have somebody in a control room that can like talk to someone else through a camera microphone. So we got some interesting plans. So we're getting some interesting tech set up. So that's what we had called um initially. We had called it phase 1, our technical foundation. We've actually knocked that out in our first sprint in a single week. Now mind you, we had set this to be scheduled for 2 weeks. So like we were just taken back, like, yo, did we just handle like 91 tasks in a single week? So, the boys are doing it. Now, we started this week, we had started phase 2, and this is the part that this is actually the exciting part of it. Phase 2 is comprised of these 4 boxes, and you're like, "Whoa, that's a lot." But we're actually working on these things simultaneously. So, if you look quickly in this box in phase 2, this is all the player character. And if you see all those green X's, those are tasks that we've already completed. And it's only Wednesday. And you can see that we're hammering out this very quickly. Um Over here, this is basically talking about our physics engine, and we even have Noah here in the call with us that can even get into some crazy stuff. But the TLDR for this is, you guys, if you played any Friendstop games, then like ragdolls, things falling over, being able to pick stuff, being able to throw things, knocking over other things, like that's all part of this chaos system that we're trying to build. Well, you can see the ragdoll system I was just explaining here, the tool system framework, like creating a core tool and how other tools are going to stem from that class. All of that uh, is captured here in this box. This box here, well, nothing else to explain but the animals, right? We got to build the animals. We got to build the AI. We got to have animals to interact with, and they do have to be built in a certain way where like they can be manipulated or motivated, uh, negatively or positively, by the players. When we talked about giving the hippo a bath, right? That's a tool that has to interact with the hippo, or tools plural that need to interact with the hippo. And then just making sure that we're also setting up our animals, because the the plan is we want to have all of these animals in the list if we can, but we have to build our system in such a way that it can handle all those animals, and we're not having to create like a new system for each animal. That would be crazy. That would be way too much work. We want to build smart here. um and so we gotta make sure we create systems for like their tiers. Like, are they more dangerous than the other? Are they more temperamental? Do they have weird AI quirks where like some seem to be fleety, or some are just overly aggressive by nature? um and yeah, so that basically handles the animals. And then of course The other core to this is the tools, right? The tools to either fix things, tools to wash the animals, um, the tranquilizer dart if you have to put an animal down because it's gotten loose, or like you need to
To
sedate it
sleep.
so you could, yeah, so you could
Just
take it to the vet and stuff like that. Catch poles, golf carts, because at some point you're gonna want to drive around this park. um, and then cranes for maybe specific missions. We had talked about in the previous video about feeding animals by craning somebody over and into an enclosure, and they have to toss the food near the dangerous animal, and that's got to be like physics crazy driven heavy, so we can have some crazy funky stuff happening. Um, so that's where we are today. This is day 3. We're working on these tools. I think I might be uh what's the term, optimistic, and that we might be able to blow through this fast. But I suspect that there will be some big challenges because this is the core of the game. Um, we did get some concept art in, so let me zoom over here on how some of these tools will look. Thanks to Devin, he's not here tonight, but Devin has been, you know, quickly trying to get some art into the game, get some of these tools built so we can start testing these tools at a basic level. So we're hoping we can get these hammers, these mops, squeegees, and catch poles in, with potentially some kind of mini game when you are using the catch pole. So there's other interesting mechanics that are coming online through as these tools come in. Um, so that was really cool. He'd been working on getting these to us as quickly as possible, and this week he will actually be modeling and getting these in, just a proxy version of them into the project, so we actually have something to test. Um, we also have our wonderful senior technical animator Adam. He's not here tonight, but he did pop in earlier. You might have caught him. He basically pointed us to this stickman pack, like, hey, let's why don't we start off our characters, our base meshes here, and then from there we'll slowly actually start creating the character that we do want to see. Because their skeletons are very interesting. The shapes are basic, and that's kind of like, if you remember the first video, we were talking about like an art style. We wanted very basic, simple shapes that also stood out. Um, so that was pretty cool. So we're spinning up on the art side of things fairly quickly as well. Our level designer Dominique has been hard at work getting references, trying to figure out like how do maps work. So you can see that like we're looking at some games, some real life places. Um, I think this is Universal. This is also a game, Division. Like being able to, we don't want to just be excuse me, we don't want to just be, massive, right? And just have these long maps. We also want to try to be vertical and be smart with our building, because well, we don't this isn't an open world game, right? This is a zoo game. You're enclosed, and the park can be big itself, but it should be interesting. We don't want to be too flat. So he's been, taking a lot of screenshots, getting a lot of suggestions and inspiration, and that's been working out really well. So, with all that being said, you're like, okay, we're looking at the mirror board for another day, for the second time. Well, let's show you what we actually have in project. So this is what Dominique has been putting together based off of those references. Okay. And of course, this is always subject to change, but this is like understanding space and how does it work and how does it feel. And as soon as we start getting more of our systems online, these places are really going to come to life. We're hoping in a positive way, but when you start getting things in, sometimes it feels bad, but at least we have a playground to play with, and we have an idea about space sizes and height and cascading. So if I press play, you could see we're already kind of using this character. Um, and then
we
you
got
see,
yeah,
yeah, we got the guy in the game. So obviously, we're very limited on animations. But what you can see here, there's something interesting here happening. Whenever I stop, you see this kind of this like this Judd in his head. That's actually physics driven. So we have our animations, but they're layered over with a physics with the physics system that's allowing that. So that's kind of how we want our movement. We want our movements to not just be animated, but also physics driven. So you can get this kind of this goofy, wobbly kind of feel to it. It doesn't have to necessarily always be with walking. This is merely just like a we're discovering and we're seeing how it feels and how it plays out and what kind of tools and controls that we have to kind of create these things. So yeah, this is pretty dope, man. I was and by the way, like this even this map came online like how fast was this done, guys? You remember?
What a week and some,
Like a week and some
almost two
change?
weeks. That's it. Yeah, yeah, almost 2 weeks. I'd say, like around 10 days.
Yeah. And I remember like we started off with like one box and then all of a sudden, you know, we have this whole park and then what we're also using to our advantage is landscaping. So we're using landscape as well to kind of get some of that organic, ground, floors and earth and hills and stuff like that. And then we're mixing it with, flats like you would for like pavers and places where the zoo guests and people roam, and even structures where you could climb to the top and kind of look down into the enclosures as well. So this is supposed to be like a customer area where these squares are covered with glass, but they are also potentially breakable. So that's gonna be lead to some interesting stuff there too. So yeah, super cool, man. Like awesome to see this stuff happen. We got a little guy. We're running around. Um, and the other thing that I can show you, is it this? No, it's test. Okay. So if I were to play standalone game, I think I might have showed this off in the first video. I don't remember, but we'll do it again. Okay, I clearly opened up the wrong map. Where's the menu map? Oh, main menu. All right, let's do it right. Hey, all right. Funny splash page. This isn't going to be the final art, but we think this image is hilarious and we love using it. So yeah, I mean, we got some stuff set up here. We got some settings. We're not sure. I don't think this really works right now, but for sure, host and join does work. So if I do host, it should throw me into the map. Oh, and we're using this guy now. Awesome. Oh Lord. Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't realize those messages were there. Um, but yeah. Uh, so in here, I'm actually actively running a session. I don't know if it'll let me run another one. Let's see. No, it closed it. Okay. Well, anyway, I was going to show that like we can have like we do have it set up where you can see certain servers, you could join specific games, and you're not just thrown into the very first match it finds like we did in our first video. So there's an update there. If I was playing with other folks, they would populate in that map as well. We could hear each other. We also could change it where it's push to talk. So all of that is functional. Um, so that I mean that's everything that I wanted to discuss today. Do you guys have anything you want to bring up while we're live? All right. Well, that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you for joining in to our update. Sorry it was so short this time, but I promise you by the next time we're gonna have some more cool things to show off, and at least the beginnings of some interesting gameplay. So, bye for now, and yeah, just follow us, give us a like, give us a sub. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. Check out our shorts. Um, you know, put other if you find it if you know anybody else who's interested in what we're doing here or really enjoys friend stop games, put them on this. this is gonna be a wild ride for both of us. So take care, everybody. See you soon.